Hi guys, happy Thanksgiving. Today we're going to do a simple, non-traditional colored greeting card. I'm not going to say Christmas card because I'd like it that you could use this for any holiday you want. I'm thinking more along the lines of maybe Hanukkah because that'll be starting soon. Or Christmas if you wanted. So as you can see, I put a different type of sentiment on there. And then you could put something else on the inside, which we'll talk about when we start the card. And I used purple and some distress ink in this. And we're just going to go ahead and get started. And then I'm going to show you at the end an alternate way to do this card. And also, I'm going to announce the winners of the giveaway. So let's get started. You're going to need some snowflake dies for this. I had picked up, you guys probably saw it in my one of my haul videos, the Winter Wonderland Snowflake Quartet. So I have these 4 dies. But before we get to any die cutting, we're going to take a white Bristol smooth panel. You could use Nina, you could use whatever you want. I chose Bristol because I'm going to be using regular distress inks, not oxides. I just like the way the blending looks for this card. But you can use your oxides, you can use whatever you want, any type of paper you want. I just find it's easier to blend on the Bristol. So I cut this to be 4 by 5¼ inches. And to start off our blending, as you can see some purple in there. So we're going to start off with Dusty Concord and Seedless Preserves. So I'm just going to pull out my 2 blending tools for this. I'm going to start with the Dusty Concord. As long as I don't drop my other stuff. Okay. And I'm just kind of going in different spots with the 2 purples. I'm up so late doing this video and I got a lot more cooking to do tomorrow. And then I'll be up all night because of the Black Friday shopping. Fun. It marks the beginning of the season. And of course, our little elves make an appearance tomorrow night. So the kids will wake up Friday morning to find their elves and what mischief they've been up to start the season. Now I'm going in with my Seedless Preserves into all the spots where I did not put the other purple. And I can already see my fingerprints, so I'm just going to grab a scrap piece of paper. I'll be showing up tomorrow to Thanksgiving dinner with purple fingers, purple and blue and black. That's always fun. I took Jack's for a haircut today, which ended up being a $25 shave his whole head haircut. Excuse me. And this is what made me start the story. I saw the stylist, looking at my fingers because I still have like some pink ink and stuff that was stained onto my fingers. I'm going back in with the Concord and the Seedless Preserves and just blending those 2 purples together so that they kind of smooth each other out. So anyway, Jack's has been a toss-up. This is his 4th haircut today. The very first haircut he got was last year around January. And he loved it. Absolutely loved it. He leaned into the clippers. I think he liked the vibration of them. He just sat there and drank his bottle the whole time he was getting his haircut. The second time we took him for a haircut, he screamed and cried the entire time. There was snot and spit dribbling down his face. He had hair mixed in with it because he kept rubbing his eyes. I was trying to distract him. I was like, he was sitting on my husband's lap, my fiance's lap, and I was crouched down in front of the chair with my phone out trying to get him to watch YouTube Kids. And it was getting all over me, the hair, the snot, and trying to wipe it off, and it's just sticking to his clothes. So that was the bad second experience. The third experience was right before we went to Cocoa Beach in August. And he was okay. He was a little iffy about the clippers, but for the most part, he sat on Dan's lap. No problem. So now I'm not going to put any more ink on these. I'm just going to keep blending with what's already on there until I like the way it looks. So I take them today, and the first thing I find out when I get to the mall that Master Cuts, where I normally take him, has closed and merged with Regis. And I don't know if these are hairstyling places that you guys have near you, but those were the two that are in our mall. So I'm taking them to a totally new place. When I get there, I find out that their prices are more expensive. So with the tip, I paid $25. And when I sit down, I put him on my lap because Dan's at work. And she puts a cape over me, and she puts a cape over Jax. And he's looking in the mirror, and she starts cutting his hair. And he seems to be okay with it. And then all of a sudden, she goes to the back of his neck. Side note, I'm going to take now no more seedless preserves. I'm going to ink up the Dusty Concord a little bit, and I'm just going to lightly cover the whole background with the Dusty Concord. Not too much. I still want that gradient of purple, but still going to go over it lightly. So back to the story. Once she gets to that spot on the back of his neck, he totally loses it. He jerks his head to turn around and look at her. He starts screaming, "No, go bye-bye, leave." He's trying to hit me. And needless to say, we were already doing a very close shave with the clippers as it was. And with Jax turning his head the way he did, he took a whole chunk out of the upper part of his hair where I usually have them trim it and then just cut it down with the scissors. I don't have that part shaved. And at that point I was just like, okay, I guess we're going in with all of it. So I told her to cut off, just use a 0 on the sides and back of his head and use a 1 on the top. Hopefully we could salvage a little bit more of the hair even though a chunk came out. Alright, so I'm going to leave it like this. I can still see the gradient of purple. And I'm going to put the seedless preserves away. So, he ended up, she gave him a sucker, and for the most part, he ended up letting her cut the rest of his hair. There's still some touch-ups I have to do, but my point being, I ended up paying $25 for a buzz cut that I could have done at home because I already cut my fiance's hair. I could have done Jax's. So I was a little upset because that was $25 I could have spent on some gifts tomorrow night. So that was my day today. Now we're going to pull out some Chip Sapphire, Blueprint Sketch, and the Black Soot. And we're not going to use too much of these. I'm going to show you what we're going to do. Okay, so I'm going to go in with a little bit of the Blueprint Sketch. We just want to tint a little bit of certain areas blue. That nice royal blue as I think of it. It really does look like the color of a blueprint, I think. So I'm going to do this edge right here. So he loves his haircut. He looked in the mirror, he took one look in the mirror, and he said, "Daddy, haircut." So he thinks his haircut looks like Daddy's haircut, and he's perfectly content with it. I send a picture to my hubby, and he says, "He looks weird." And I was like, "He does not look weird, he looks cute." And he goes, I guess it's just something we got to get used to it. We're not used to it. And I guess he's kind of right. But anyway, I thought it was adorable. So then we get home, and of course he's got his glasses on. I don't know if I ever told you guys that, but Jax wears glasses, and they're the indestructible kind, so they have this band. There's no hinges on the side of the glasses where the earpiece meets the front lenses. And it's got this band on the back that's automatically attached by 2 snaps that holds the glasses on. Because, of course, they're not going to fit as well because there's no hinges that push them inwards towards the head. Now I'm going to take some of that chipped sapphire and I'm going to go lightly on top of the purple. So, of course, he's got no more hair to hold his glasses up, so I got to adjust the strap. I can adjust it, but I just haven't had the chance yet. So we get home, and his glasses keep falling off onto the tip of his nose. And we walk in, and his older sister, Kelly, says, he looks weird. And I'm like, start laughing. I'm like, that's what your father said. He does not look weird. He looks cute. And she goes, I don't know. It's going to take some getting used to. So then little Riley sees him, and you guys, you've seen her, well, heard her in my videos. And she looks at Jax, and she goes, Jax, you look weird. And I was like, he does not look weird. He looks so cute. He's adorable. And she goes, no, Mom, he looks weird. And just the way she said it had me cracking up. So I don't know if you can see, but you can see the tone of blue and the blueprint sketch. We're going to make the blueprint sketch a little bit darker. And then we're going to go in with that chipped sapphire. And we're going to do the same thing we did with the Dusty Concord. We're going to lightly go over all of it. So it has a blue tone along with the purple undertone. And if you can tell, you can kind of tell that this is kind of getting saturated now. But you can kind of see the 3 circles of blueprint sketch I did. So I'm going to put the blueprint sketch away. I love messing with regular distress inks because you never know what you're going to get with the blending. You can always do it a different way and end up with something totally different. I'm going to get my black soot ready. Going back to the chipped sapphire. And lightly go over the whole thing. I'm trying to hold it by the edges now because that paper is just making it slide around when I try to cover the whole thing. But it is going to get on my fingers. I can see that. Anyway, I think he looks absolutely adorable. It'll grow on everybody else. And like I told them, it's always been my motto for haircuts. It doesn't matter if it's my haircut, my girls, Jax. It's hair. It grows back. It's not the end of the world. I've literally seen people cry in hair salons because they were so upset by what was done to their hair if something went wrong, which, yeah, I can see getting upset. But me, I'm just the type of person that says, oh, well, it's hair, it grows back. If I really dislike it that much, I'll just wear a hat until it grows back or stay in the house, which, no, I wouldn't stay in the house. I'd just throw a hat on. All right, so we just about got it covered. I see a little spot right there. So now we've got our blue and our purple going on there. And I'm going to put the chipped sapphire away. And as you can see, I still have the Dusty Concord out. And that's because after we put the black soot on, I'm going to go over it lightly one more time with the Dusty Concord to bring back a little bit of that purple. Oh, this is the Dusty Concord. Black soot. I did get a late start today, though, because I'm going to go in lightly around the edges first. I woke up and I had this humongous headache. I mean, I had a headache a couple days ago, too. and it took hours and hours and hours to go away. Finally, I tried this trick. My older daughter that lives on her own told me to stick my hands and feet into hot water and put something cold, like a bag of frozen peas, on the back of my neck. And I was like, how long do you do it? And she's like, well, don't do it longer than 10 minutes because you'll confuse your blood. I'm like, oh, great. But I did it, and it definitely worked. It didn't, like, completely miraculously take the headache away, but it made it bearable. And then I still had it the next day, and it was a little bit better. And I still had it the third day for half the day. And then yesterday was fine. I didn't have any headache at all. And then today I woke up and I had this horrible, horrible headache. And I don't know why. I do not know what's going on that's causing me to have all these headaches. Now I'm going back in with that Dusty Concord and kind of blending the black soot edges out while lightly going over the entire surface. I'm not pushing down hard or anything. As you can see, the purple's starting to come back. So it took me a good part of the day to try and get rid of that headache. At one point, right when Dan was getting ready to go to work, I was like, oh my God. And I had to get up and run to the bathroom. I really thought I was going to throw up. And I sat in there with that, you know, that funny taste you get in your mouth. And I sat in that bathroom for a hot minute, waiting to see if it was going to happen. And it didn't end up happening. But, man. And then I still had a kind of a dull headache when I took Jax for his haircut. And I really did think about putting it off, but I've already put it off for 3 weeks. And I knew I had to go out anyway today and get the rest of the food so we could start cooking today. All right, I'm going to put the black soot away. So I just took them. And let me tell you, when I got out of the car to get gas in the cold air, it was so windy here. It was so cold. It was like, I think when I checked the temperature when I was getting gas, it was 29 degrees. And it was so windy. I couldn't believe how windy it was, but it knocked that headache right out of me. I started to get it a little bit when we were on our way home. By the time we were on our way home, we were gone for a few hours. It was like 6 o'clock, 6:30 when we were coming home. It was actually 19 degrees out and felt like it was 0. It is freezing. I hope it's not like that tomorrow when I go Black Friday shopping. All right, so I'm just cleaning up some of this ink. All right, we're going to put away this Dusty Concord also. And you know, when you're ink blending, no two panels, no matter how hard you try, no two are going to end up exactly the same. So at the end, I'll show you the differences, the slight differences between the two panels. And I'll be making 10 cards like this. I'm going to make a set out of this card, so we'll, you know, I'm sure though many of them will end up quite different. So our next step is I'm going to take some white acrylic paint and on an acrylic block. And I'm going to take some of that iridescent watercolor ink that came in the Hero Arts kit last month. Not this kit that just came out for November, but the one last month. I'm going to put 3 drops on there. Actually, I want to make a little divot into the paint first, just so it doesn't run off of my acrylic block. And then I'm going to add some water because I'm going to do what I want to look like snow in the background. So I'm just going to mix this up. Making a mess over here. I got paint on the paintbrush and got it on my ruler. I just got to clean it up because knowing me, I'll forget and it'll get all over some aspect of the card that's not supposed to have white paint on it. There we go. I'm also, for that word believe, I cut out the same colored cardstock that I used for the base of the card, this purple. I had some extra when I was making the card bases. I cut out 2 of the word dies at believe out of the purple cardstock and 1 out of this like satiny pearl foil cardstock, which I'll show you the pack it came in. Yeah, I picked it up at Joann's, so you guys would probably be able to pick it up easy peasy. And I thought it went perfect with brought out the white and the snow of this card and the image of snowflakes. Alright, I think that's liquidy enough. Actually, I'm gonna put a little bit more in there. I want it to go on with no problems, and I picked one of the smallest paintbrushes I have because I don't want to end up with big blotches on my card. Alright. So I'm just going to tap my brush, splatter it on there. See, I did end up with some big splatters. I like the way this looks. It's super cute. And I'm not going to worry too much about those big splatters because you never know, it might end up where we're putting a snowflake dye. So I might end up coming off anyway. I'm trying to get some of the smaller splatters in there too. Never seems to go where you want it to go. I'm trying to get up in those corners there. Alright, I think that's enough. So I'm going to set this aside. I'm going to dry this real quick after I wipe up the paint because I don't want that drying to my mat. Like I said, we don't want any paint getting onto another aspect of our card. Alright, so I'm going to be patient with me. I'm going to dry this real quick. I really love the way this looks. And the other version I'm going to show you is a clean, simple version. I mean, this one's kind of clean and simple too, but there's more work involved with the ink blending and whatnot. Where the other card, there's no ink blending at all. So you could come out with 2 similar cards that have 2 totally different looks. Right. And those bigger blotches are just kind of sitting there, so I think I'm going to grab a paper towel and just dab them up so I can finish drying. All right. I'm going to flip it over so I can straighten the panel out just a little bit. Alright, so now we're going to put our snowflakes on there. And you can place them anywhere you want. As long as you know you can fit your sentiment, whatever you choose, in there somewhere. And I think it was up here for the last card, so we're going to try something else. like the way that looks. Just make sure they're not too close to the edge because you want to be able to stick that right on your mat. And believe should fit right in there. So I'm going to tape these down and die cut them. And I'm also going to take my glitter panel so that we can save and not waste so much. Oh, this one popped off. All right, let me die cut this before this pops off again. What I'm going to say is we're going to cut the middle out of that so we can use that on another project because you're never going to know. Actually, we can't do that. I forgot. You can see straight through to the snowflakes. Duh. That's why I didn't do it on the other card. So forget I said that. Totally forgot. You have to use the whole thing. Normally, I cut the middle out so I can save it and use it. But you would clearly see that on this project, so we cannot do that. If I was editing, I would edit that part out because that was a little dumb move on my part, and that would have made my blooper reel. And Mary, I don't know if you guys watch Mary Polanco, but I love, love, love her. And she's making a blooper reel. I don't know when that's going to premiere, after Christmas or what, but I can't wait to see it. Sorry, I'm just taping these down again because they keep popping off. Alright, let's try that. Alright, so this part can be a little bit time consuming. Just make sure, here's my advice for you. Even if you got to run it through your die cutting machine a couple times, just make sure that all of those snowflakes cut through your paper, because if they didn't, with these being so intricate, you're going to have one heck of a time getting them off. Alright, so before we take the tape off, you're going to want to flip it over. I learned this from doing it the hard way on the first card. And I'm going to take a fine tip, and I'm going to show you guys real quick. You want to go into all the pieces that will stay, like that centerpiece and that centerpiece and this centerpiece and those little diamonds and that one. Those are all going to stay on your card. They're not going to come out with the snowflake that you cut, because those are the centers of what make the intricate snowflakes. So you want those to stay on your cardstock. You can't use tape, because if you've all worked with glitter cardstock, then you all know that tape does not work on glitter cardstock. For the most part, it's not going to stick. So I'm just going around the intricate tiny parts with the fine needle nose tip I have on my multimedia mat. And then I'll go through for the rest of the card and use my Nouveau Deluxe glue, because that comes out faster and whatnot. And I don't want to be doing this all day. And I'm sure you guys don't either. I'm sure you want to get to the winners. I was so excited. I mean, I didn't have as many people enter the giveaway this time, but I let Lindsay, since there's not that many of you, I put all the names in the hat, and I let Lindsay pick the winner and the runner-up. She was very excited to pick the person who would be getting her card that she made along with a set that I made. So she's totally thrilled. She wanted to be up while I made this video, but it started getting late, and she's like, never mind, Mom, I'm getting tired, I'm going to bed. Alright, my hand gets hurting after a while, trying to squeeze that bottle to get glue into every little nook and cranny. You want to make sure that this stuff sticks down onto your glitter paper. And this is where the tricky part comes in, trying to get those snowflake cutouts out of the paper once we flip it over without ruining the whole design. And let's find some wood to knock on now, guys, because I make a card before I show it on a video to you guys, and it comes out perfectly well with no problems. And then I go to make the video because I can't edit, and I always end up having issues with at least one part of it. And that's why I'm worried about that tape on there not sticking, because if it falls out, it might take all these little tiny pieces with it. So I'm going to try to slide my hand under there when we're done before I flip it over. Alright, so I got in the middle of all those intricate pieces. I'm going to put this glue away and pull out my Nouveau Deluxe glue. And we're going to try to center it on our glitter paper. The glitter paper was cut to 4 1/8, I believe, or 4 1/4. 4 1/8, because I wanted a little tiny bit of the purple cardstock to show. So it's 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. All right. Here comes the tricky part, guys. Now you're going to need some type of poking tool. I found that even the tips of your eek tweezers, if you have those, work. I'm going to slide this off camera just to slide it onto my hand. And then I'm going to flip it. I'm going to try to line it up. Alright, that looks pretty good. So I'm going to take the tape off of the first snowflake. My head might get in frame just because I'm going to be trying to get all these little tiny pieces to stay down. Hold on. It moved. Okay. So I'm just going to poke all those ones that I know are staying down onto the paper as best I can, and then I'm going to poke through into the holes of each snowflake. All the holes in the die that help you get the snowflake out, I poke down into those, and I'm going to pry it up a little on each side. And I was checking to make sure that no paper was in there as I was pulling it up. So now everything went in there successfully. I'm just going to poke down on those little pieces that are staying again. And I'm slowly going to try to peel my snowflake up without... I'm going to push down on those pieces as I pull the snowflake up. Alright, so I got all those center pieces down, and I'm just going to try to pull this guy out of here. There we go. Number 1 is on there. Now we're going to go for number 2. Now you guys, you didn't have to do the snow speckling if you didn't want to. You could have used just water and used the properties of the distress inks. Anything you want to tweak this and make it your card. There's tons of things you could do to tweak it and make it your own. Now on this piece, I'm pretty sure it was just the center that was staying on the card. So I'll poke him down again. And I'm going to try slowly prying this guy up. Trying to hold down the paper at the same time so that my glued paper doesn't come off the glitter, because of course it's not dry yet, but you don't want to wait for it to dry, because then all your little pieces and your snowflake are going to want to stick to your card. Okay, so I saw that that piece didn't stay in the center. So I'm just lining this back up. And I'm going to poke my tool in there as I pull my die up. And now it's back in the center. So that guy's done. Now we're going to go for this little guy here. And I'm pretty sure it's just the center on him as well. And let's make sure we get all these holes that help us take the snowflake out. And I can already tell that this guy, the center didn't stay down on this guy either. So I'm just gonna pull it up and leave my pokey tool down in there. And there we go. So how much of a difficult time you have doing this part of the card depends on how intricate your snowflake dies are. How many pieces stay on the negative part of the card, etc. So if you haven't bought the snowflake dies yet, and you're buying them to try this card, I would say, I mean, of course we all know that the more intricate the snowflake, the prettier it looks. But you don't want to go so intricate that you turn this card into clean and simple, from clean and simple into, I don't have the patience for this, it's going to end up in the garbage, one of those type of deals, because Lord knows I've done that before, especially in the beginning, where I've just tried everything to fix the card or make it look better, and it just isn't working. Okay, so I'm going to start pulling up on this. And did you see what happened there? My pokey tool slid, and it made my center slide. So I just pushed that back down. Okay, so now this is the part where normally I would lay something heavy on there and we would start working on our believe sentiment. But I already have it done, so we're just gonna put something on there for a few minutes and we'll get out our jewels and stuff. And I will tell you the winners. So I'll put these, oh, as you can see, I didn't take the snowflakes out of any of these, so I can't put them away yet. All right, so as I said, I had Lindsay draw a hat and pick the winners of the card kit giveaway. So the first prize was the card kit that I made for Christmas, the giveaway for the card kit. And the second prize was the card, the runner-up prize was the card that Lindsay made. And also a set of 10 cards, any 10 cards you would like that I have made myself. It could be the Chinese ink painting ones, it could be a Christmas card set, it could be a mix of 10 different cards. So the person that won that prize, you email me with your information, just like the first winner, and then I'll send you, you tell me what types of cards you're looking for, and I will send you pictures of what I have. All right, so before I announce it, let's put something heavy on that or it's never gonna dry, shall we? 1 second, guys. I don't want the camera to fall. Well, it's gonna fall. See this nice heavy old-fashioned iron? My friend bought me this, my best friend, for my birthday, because she knows I like those types of things, and she figured I could use it in my craft room, and that's what I use it for. Big heavy paper, right? It doesn't stick to anything, so when I use it, it doesn't normally stick or give me problems. All right, we'll just do this. All right, so we'll keep that there. Okay, so this is my email. This is where you guys are going to want to email to give me your information. The winner of the card kit, Christmas card kit that I made up myself, is Flow Light. Flow Light. And the runner-up for the 10 set of cards, excuse me, I'm sorry. And the card that Lindsay handmade herself, the penguin card, is Lynn Griffin. And I figured since there was only 5 of you, I think, it was 5 or 6, but I'm pretty sure it's 5 of you total. If the other 3 of you wanted to send me your information, I can send you a handmade Christmas card for the holidays. You let me know if you want me to fill it out to you or if you want to just have me send it to you so you can use it for somebody else. It's Christmas, and I didn't want to see anybody walk away empty-handed. So you just send your information to that email, Jenna, DDZZZ@gmail.com. Send me your information and what type of card you would like. I was hoping Christmas card, but it can be any card for the other three. And Flo, you get the card kit. And Lynn, just when you email me information, let me know what type of cards you're looking for. Now back to the card. Oh, before we move on, I told you I cut the Believe. Here's the shininess of the Believe. It's like a satiny pearl. And that came out of Cardstock Stack Metallics. 6x6 inch foil cardstock by DCWV, and it says DCWV.com. But I got it at Joann's, and it was just this pearly white finish one, and it had gold, copper, it says yellow, but there's no yellow in there, silver, pearl, and black. Alright, back to this card. You know, I keep trying, guys, to get under an hour. We're at 41 minutes. I will tell you, I already got this ready, but like I said, I die cut one out of the pearly white, two out of the purple cardstock, glued them all together with my glue pen. I was using a two-way glue pen with a ballpoint tip, but I just ran out, so I'm using this one. Tombow glue pen. Okay, so this guy's pretty much glued down now. We are going to put him on the card base. And I carefully flip it over so I can put tape on it. And I think I'm going to go with score tape just because I don't want to be sliding it around to get the tape gun and then have parts of those snowflakes fall off. So I'm just going to use some score tape. It'll take like another maybe 30 seconds longer, but it's worth it. I'm never straight with these things. When I put score tape on them, I always end up being crooked. That one wasn't so bad. So I hope you guys enjoyed my little story about Jax. Definitely wish me luck with Thanksgiving, Black Friday shopping. Like I said, I won't be like in the crowds unless there's still a crowd at Walmart when I go. But last year, by the time I got to Walmart, it was my last store because it's closest to home for me. And closest to home still means it's a 25-minute ride home. Anyway, and it was dead, like dead when I went there. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, and they were kind of dead. They were in between popular times, like at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning, they were going to start picking back up again. Alright, so I'm going to peel off all the backing from the score tape so I can place it on the card base. And like I said, you want to go, if you don't want this to be a Christmas card, I mean, Believe could mean anything, so I still think that could go for any other type of holiday. And I think it would be a good card for Hanukkah. I have many different sentiments that don't necessarily have to do with Christmas. You know, enjoy the holiday season and the new year. I think that's a good generic one. I mean, honestly, you can use anything and say, hey, Merry Christmas, if you're aiming for... Because I need to get a set that has Happy Hanukkah, and I've been looking for one because my aunt and uncle celebrate Hanukkah. And I just so far haven't been able to find one I like. Okay, so we're going to try to center this on here. It's hard because I'm trying not to bend that cardstock because it's still drying. Alright, that's good. Actually, it looks pretty darn good. Alright, so there's our card. Then we're going to put our Believe on there. Got one all ready right here. I'm going to put glue on the back. I'm going to use a little bit thicker two-way glue pen though, because that Tombow one takes a little bit longer and I'm trying to save time. And this glue pen works fine. I've never had a problem using this glue pen on anything. I do hesitate to use this glue pen when I know I'm sticking it onto glitter cardstock. Then I'll reach for that fine tip Ranger Multi-Medium matte glue. But I mean, I guess I could try it on glitter cardstock. I'm not saying it won't work. I'm just saying I usually hesitate, thinking that maybe I need a little bit of a stronger glue. And I always go so fast with this stuff, I end up missing my aim here. Bad aim. Bad aim with the two-way glue pen. That's gonna fit perfect right there. And I'll put some acrylic blocks on there for a minute. Now you could use these, we're gonna poke these snowflakes out real quick. You could use these snowflakes on another card with a white background. I mean, you could do it so they didn't go to waste. You could do anything you wanted with these things. I am saving them actually and putting them aside so I can do something else with them. Those might actually look cute on the alcohol backgrounds I did the other night with you guys. All right, so for the jewels, I didn't go super fancy. I just went with the Studio Katia June crystals. Because like I said, non-traditional. I was going to go with black, but the black definitely did not look right. It did not. It was way too dark. And I did not like the way it looked. And then I was going to put clear ones on there, but I was like, really? Why put clear on there when some of the June crystals look like they're clear once they go on the purple background anyway? So I just stuck with the purple. Because if you guys have these Studio Katia crystals, then you know that some of them in there are purple with like an iridescent sheen on the top, and some of them are a clear purple where you can see right through them, and if you put them on something that's purple, you're not actually going to see the color. All right, he's not coming out, so I'm going to wait on him. Here, I'll show you what I mean. See, like these solid light purple ones having like an iridescent shimmer. And then you've got these clear ones that when you put them on the purple paper, you can see right through them. All right, so we're just gonna place, I think I put a combination of both on the last card, and I think that's what I'm gonna do this time. And I think this is a really cute non-traditional card, and it's quite different from the other stuff that I've been doing this season. Let's see here. And I think that one up top is just a little too big, so we're gonna replace him with something smaller. Three here, three here, three here. And let's put one by its lonesome off to the side here. All right, so I'm gonna stick those down real quick, and I'm gonna use the EuroArts lacquer pen. I like that this works quickly for gluing them down. They dry faster, at least in my experience they do. Does anybody else have this Jewel Picker by Marvy? My small side, it said on the package that if it stops sticking, to use an eraser lightly on the tip. Let me tell you, don't do that, because I did it and it basically took that pink stuff off. So I've been kind of washing it with soap and water and letting it air dry, and some of the stickiness comes back, but it's never quite the same as when you first bought it, which is kind of frustrating for the amount of money you paid for it. You know, you pay that money for it, you expect to be able to use it more than a few times with no problems. That guy's stuck to the side of the jewel picker. Alright, so those 6 are down. Glue this guy down. Now if you wanted to get more technical with this and not be so quick and simple, you could probably go over that word believe with the Hero Arts lacquer pen, because it usually keeps its shape even on the edges. I wouldn't recommend doing it with Glossy Accents or Crystal Glaze by Nuvo though, because those are more runny and they don't really hold their shape until they're dry. At least in my experience. But with the lacquer pen, I can always go right up to the edge of something and it stays there as it's drying. So that's it. I mean, if you wanted, you could go over, I mean, it's got quite a bit of sparkle with that glitter paper underneath, but if you wanted to, you could go over your word believe with a Wink of Stella pen or a Spectrum Noir pen, whatever you wanted. I'm doing it here just to show you that it can be done, even though that's foil paper. It's kind of satiny, so who says it can't use a little bit of shimmer? And that's it, guys. That's our clean and simple card. I am going to put a sentiment inside, but I'm not going to put that on this thing, on this video, because I'm trying to save time. Now here is another way to do that card. It's a solid white card base. I think it's Marshmallow. That's the color by Basil. I put a turquoise glitter piece of cardstock underneath. I used another white piece of paper. I think this is Nina, 80 pound. I used those same snowflake dies, just the 4. And then I used some white cutouts, the ones I used to cut out of the white paper. And I glued them down with the 2-way glue pen and cut the edges off. I also did some in the glitter paper, another piece of glitter paper, and glued those on down to the paper where there was empty spots. And then I used Joyful Wishes from a Lawn Fawn kit. I think I had birds and birch trees and a couple Christmas ornaments. And I took this from another set. It's the only problem I have with this card. That's so beautiful and fonty and swirly. And then you get into this thick one and Snowflake Kisses. I didn't use the first part of this, which is Holiday Wishes, because I wanted this to be a I don't know, Holiday Wishes didn't sound right to me. So I used Joyful. I think it was mostly because, you know what, I think I decided it was okay, but it wouldn't fit there. And then I put some Ocean Wave Studio Kato crystals in there and some clear Studio Katia crystals in there. And that's it. That's the other card. Many different ways probably that you could do this, but these are the 2 that I came up with. Here's the one we just made. And you winners, you have 48 hours to get back to me. Actually, let's make it 72 hours because of Thanksgiving. So please send your information into my email. And if you other guys want a Christmas card or any type of card, whether you want me to fill it out or just send it to you blank, send me your information and let me know. I hope you guys have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and we'll see you for the next card video for this series. Have a great night. Have a great, safe, happy Thanksgiving. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that notification button because more wonderful giveaways will be coming up soon. Bye-bye.